Hello and welcome back to Easy English Stories. I'm Oliver, and in this podcast I will read you an exciting story in clear, slow English. As I read, I'll explain new words and grammar naturally within the story. Today's story is a sci-fi adventure called The Time Traveler's Watch. Let's begin. Leo Carter loved old things, especially things with history. That's why he often visited the small antique shop at the corner of his street. The shop was full of forgotten treasures, dusty books, rusty keys, and strange objects from the past. But one afternoon, Leo found something different. It was a watch. The watch had a silver case, a black leather strap to attach it around the wrist, and delicate little hands on the watch face that moved smoothly across the numbers. But what caught Leo's attention was the engraving on the back. The text. It said, "Property of L.C. 1892. LC, those were his initials, the letters for each of his names. Leo Carter, LC. His heart raced. That means it beat quickly because of excitement or shock. Could this watch belong to someone from his family? Where did this come from? He asked the shopkeeper, an old man with round glasses. No idea, the man shrugged. It was in a box of old things from an estate sale. A beautiful watch, isn't it? Leo nodded. He felt a strange connection to it. Without thinking, he bought the watch and put it on his wrist. The moment that the strap clicked into place, a sudden whooshing sound filled the room, like the sound of a rushing wind. The shop blurred, the floor disappeared, the lights flickered, and then darkness. When Leo opened his eyes, he wasn't in the antique shop anymore. He was standing on a busy street, but everything looked different. The people wore long coats and tall hats. Horse-drawn carriages rolled along the cobbled road. Gas lamps flickered on the buildings. "Where am I?" he whispered. Then he realized he wasn't just in another place, he was in another time. A newspaper boy ran past, shouting, "Read all about it, London, June 14th, 1892. Leo's breath caught in his throat. 1892? That was the year on the watch. It wasn't just an antique, it was a time machine. As he looked around, something even stranger happened. A man passed by, wearing a familiar watch on his wrist, the exact same one. Leo stared. The man had dark hair just like his. He had the same sharp nose, the same way of walking. It was like looking in a mirror. Could this man be his ancestor, a distant family member, or someone else, someone more important? Leo had so many questions. But before he could follow the man, the watch on his wrist glowed. Glowing means shining with light. The numbers moved backwards. The whooshing sound returned. And suddenly everything disappeared again. A moment later, Leo found himself back in the antique shop. The old shopkeeper was still there. He was arranging books on a shelf, as if nothing had happened. Leo looked at the watch. The hands were still moving. It was still ticking. But now he knew the truth. This was no ordinary watch. This was a door to the past, and he had only just begun to understand its secrets. That's the end of today's short story. We saw some great action words like raced, whooshing, and glowed, which helped to make the story sound more exciting. Did you notice the places where we used the past simple tense? We use it to tell a story about something that happened before now. Like Leo found a watch and he opened his eyes. We also saw past continuous, like people were wearing long coats. And we use this to describe things happening in the background. What do you think Leo should do next? Should he travel back in time again? Let me know your ideas. If you enjoyed this episode and want to keep learning English through stories, make sure to follow or subscribe. And I'll be back soon with another interesting, easy English story. Until then, happy listening and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.